thunderstorms tomorrow, which have the potential to produce flooding downpours, damaging winds, hail, and isolated tornado. We'll get to near 70 as we brighten up for the late afternoon. Upper 50s, cooler and dry Thursday. I'm Mackie with the meteorologist Steve DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We have sunny skies, 77 in St. Peters, partly cloudy 74 in Florissant, and partly sunny 74 downtown at the Arch. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today, now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, go to chesterfieldfence.com. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info at cardinals.com.
Welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends.
This is The Show.
Come inside, the show's about to start.
Now, Amy Marks Core's Chris Ranji on KMOX.
I tell you, what a Tuesday. What a Tuesday it is here in St. Louis. It's Amy. It's Election Tuesday. We've got elections going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
The polls are open. We'll get to that in a little bit here on KMOX. Amy Marks Kors is back.
Hey.
There she is. Look at her. I'm Chris Ranji. This is the show. You can visit with us today, 314-436-7900 to call or to text. You can tweet at us at the show KMOX. We're on Instagram too. Very same handle.
Mm-hmm.
Voicemails. Would you like just drop us a little voicemail? 314-944-1120. 98.7 FM, 1120 AM. And guess what, baby?
What?
Odyssey app. The Odyssey app, it's free. Download it.
No kidding.
Right?
Unbelievable.
How you doing? You good?
Yep.
I'm looking at you. You look like hell. Amy's been dealing with a little sniffle. She's powering through.
No sniffle.
Yeah,
there's no sniffle.
You have a major throat thing.
My left tonsil, guys, I think it exploded.
I didn't even know I didn't know people still had tonsils.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I've been asking a lot of people. I think most people have not had their tonsils out.
That's absolutely true because we were everybody was talking about you while you were gone yesterday.
Oh man,
and about
I can imagine
your tonsils.
Yeah.
And I think
I said it was my larynx.
Larynx. Yeah, you're getting it removed.
I will say, if you hate my laugh, today is the show to listen to because I'm going to keep it at a minimum because my left tonsil has exploded and I'm dying.
Yeah, you are dying. I can't believe you came in here.
Well,
but I did tell Amy because a lot of times when she comes in with her laptop, she's got a million tabs open and the laptop always dies quickly, usually about 10:30 or 11 o'clock. And she goes, oh, I better go get my charger. So she made a point to go get her charger before the show started. And she plugged it in. And I said to her, well, you might die, but at least your laptop won't. So Amy is having she's having a really rough time. I can't believe you're here, but glad you're here. It's good to see you. And you want to do some stuff now?
You know what? There is so much stuff to do today. We got a lot going on locally, nationally. I mean, we've got an indictment. That's exciting.
Yeah, so the arraignment is happening today in New York, and we have all talked about the Trump indictment. There are 30 plus counts that have been sealed in the indictment.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know exactly what it is. We know it pertains to the Stormy Daniels situation and the hush money payments and whether it has violated campaign finance laws. So that's what's going on today.
Mm-hmm.
The story really today, well, there are a number of them. But one, what sort of crowd is going to gather in New York? What sort of protests are we going to see? Is it going to get violent? Is it going to be a whimper? Is it going to be something that we can't believe we've paid all this attention to and then nothing comes of it? That really is what's happening today. We're not going to see images of Trump in handcuffs. And I don't think you're going to see a mugshot, or at least we don't know that yet.
It was understood that there would be no handcuffs, no mugshot.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Maybe Trump wants that. I don't know.
I kind of feel like he would want the mugshot because I think he would be able to because he's so good at spinning things. I think he would have spun that into something positive for him.
Kind of like if you're going to ride Splash Mountain, you want that picture, even though it's not usually flattering.
Yeah.
This is the Splash.
I get
His Splash Mountain picture. I think there might be that. I have to be honest. I have no authority to say this and no reason to believe that this has any substance. I don't think there's going to be any kerfuffle or any real protest in New York.
I don't think so either.
I think people, even people who support Trump, even people who feel that this is a witch hunt or that it is, you know, Banana Republic action, you know, going after your political opponents, even if they feel that, there is a certain level of Trump fatigue, I think, even among his followers, his supporters, and only a few of his most ardent followers, I think, have the energy to be out in public really supporting him. Even when Trump was giving speeches at his rallies, when he would criticize Ron DeSantis, he didn't get the applause, the jeering that I think he expected going after DeSantis. And I think DeSantis is kind of also not a great people person, losing some steam. I think there seems to be fatigue all the way around surrounding Trump, DeSantis, and the right, even though the rhetoric is still strong. Does that seem to make sense? I just feel like people are a little bit fatigued.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think you'll have whatever percentage of people that really still support him, whether it's, you know, maybe in the mid 30s, 35%, 40% of the country, whatever it is. I don't know if a large percentage of them are motivated enough to be there today. There will be some. I don't think you're going to see anything all too extraordinary happen. I know that there have been people speculating that it wouldn't come today. If something terrible were to happen, it wouldn't be today. But you might see some things over the next couple of weeks happen around the country where there could be little incidents of a lone wolf violence sort of thing. Don't know what that would amount to. But that's something that could happen. I just don't see much happening today. And I hope none of it does. I mean, this isn't the kind of thing that people need to lose their minds over. What I think this all is, as it pertains to Trump, and I'm going to say this for people on the left too, don't celebrate this. This is not a thing to be celebratory about. This is not a good thing. None of this is good. None of this is helping the country. If there are serious laws broken here, I don't care if you're the president. I don't care if you're a sitting senator. I don't care if you're a plumber. Whoever you are, you need to be appropriately punished for it. And we don't really know what's in this indictment. We don't know how bad it actually is. But what we also should not do is make your mind up now. If you don't know what it is, and there needs to be some transparency here, like we need to find out exactly what it is, what the evidence is, or then maybe you'll have a problem. But we cannot look at this and already make up your mind that this is either a witch hunt or this is a gotcha. We knew it. We knew we had you on something, man. We knew it. You can't do that either way and be honest, because none of us know precisely what is going on here and what the evidence is.
I think I'm just more surprised that this is what they are going after Trump on. When you look at everything that he's done. Now, whether you're looking at people on the right, you're talking about the editors, right, at National Review and Charles C.W. Cook. You're looking at center-left reporters and political pundits. You're looking at our local guys here at KMOX, Michael Kelly and John Hancock. Everyone's a little surprised that of all the charges that you could potentially make against Donald Trump, those pertaining to Stormy Daniels and hush money seem to be the weakest. The Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg had said, we're going to go after Trump on this. His predecessor thought it looked a little bit too weak, said maybe misdemeanors, not felonies. Alvin Bragg and the grand jury obviously have charged him with 34 felony counts. But previous lawyers, district attorneys, juries, judges, political pundits have all looked at the case surrounding the hush money and have said it's a little tenuous.
It's possible, though, and I think we have to acknowledge the reality or the possibility that new evidence had presented itself in the last several years. Because again, this is something that's been going on for a while. It's not. I don't think it should be tied in with Mar-a-Lago or Georgia. Those are separate things being investigated by separate entities. I suppose the New York, they have decided that they have enough to go after him now. They've gone through the indictments. They've gone through a grand jury. It's not necessarily difficult to get an indictment through a grand jury, but they've done it. I don't know. I don't know if this is all on the up and up, or if this is strictly political, or if it's a mixture of the two. My guess is it's a mixture of the two. I think New York probably has wanted to go after him for a long time before he was even president, for numerous offenses, whatever they might be. And this was their opportunity to do it. So in that regard, I believe there's a lot of political motivation, but there could also be some legitimate motivation here too.
I think that's where the danger comes in, right? If someone commits a crime, going after that person for that crime is not, even if they're a high-ranking government official, like we talked about with John Hancock and Michael Cowley on Friday. That's not unheard of for senators and other high-ranking elected officials to be thrown in prison. The president, yes, that's different. But if someone breaks the law, you go after it. Where it gets dangerous is if it becomes a political tit for tat where it's, okay, we're going to find something on this guy, even if this is the weaker case.
Yeah.
Because we know the classified documents, we know January 6th, we can't pin those on him. The classified documents, I think, is stronger, but let's say you can't pin January 6th on Trump. Let's go after him on something else. That's where it gets a little sketchy, because you could have that going forward with administrations. After one president is voted out, they try to find something. Did he violate a law somewhere that we can get him? That's where it gets a little sketchy. And then that's where I go back to your point. Listen, we want justice, but we also shouldn't celebrate that a former president has been arraigned.
No, none of this is good.
That's not good.
No.
And you really don't want to go down this path.
No, and you know what? This could be complete. This might be me being naive, but I'm not entirely sure that slippery slope that everybody's warning us about actually happens. That, oh, well, they went after this guy. Now, when Biden is out of office, they're going to go find whatever they can to go after him. Or another, a sitting senator loses his or her seat, and then they're going to go after them because they have a political will to do it. I don't think that's actually going to happen. I think that's more fear than anything else. I think it's more fear than reality.
Yeah,
and I could be wrong about that. I don't think we're actually going to go down that path.
We could ask Rich Rubino, who's joining us later, get his thoughts on it.
Because President Nixon, when the Watergate situation was happening and that investigation was happening and they were going after him, used very similar language. He called it a witch hunt. He called that a witch hunt. But the public was very much on board with going after him at the time. That's why I think things are a little bit different now, because Donald Trump has more support from his side than I believe Richard Nixon had from his own side back then. But politics were different in the 70s.
I just hope this doesn't backfire, because there is a chance, especially when you run that populist sentiment, the government's out to get you. If Trump is arraigned, right, you have the felony charges and none of them hold up, he can prove, he can say that that's proof that the government was after me. They, quote unquote, they were after me and they didn't have anything on me. It was a witch hunt. Now let's go get victory. That's what I hope is not the result of all this.
314-436-7900 to visit with us. A text message says perhaps they're building a list to show a pattern. I guess, but you don't. I see what the sentiment is there. Maybe they're trying to do this in New York, and then they've got Georgia, and then they've got the documents and all of that, and it's an effort to say, see, this is a bad dude. Look at all these things he's done. But I don't know that that's what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. The classified documents, the SCIF documents, the fact that he had them, multiple people, in the political world and the know have said that, honestly, at least on the surface, seems like the strongest case.
And we'll see. But this is not a good day. This is
No.
not a day to celebrate. This is not a day for, I don't know. I don't like that this is happening. And I think all of us as Americans should hate that this is happening, that we have a former president, a recent former president, who's been indicted on anything. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji, there are elections happening today in St. Louis, in the county. We'll talk about that when we come back on KMOX.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 AM further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
What if you could do business without busy work? With Ramp, you can. Ramp is the future of finance with smart automation, corporate cards, and spend management. Just imagine, no more expense reports or shuffling wrinkled receipts. No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea with smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/finance. That's ramp.com/finance to get $250 for signing up. That's ramp.com/finance.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hi, guys. It's Mark. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction? Did you know that a major medical breakthrough is now available and it isn't a pill? Today, Tuesday, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge. If you're ready to regain the spark in your bedroom, today is your day. Call us now, and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 314-530-7777.
It's been a long time coming, but the new XFL has arrived, and it is here to stay. We're pushing the action, the boundaries, and the limits of what's possible. We're making dreams come true, both on and off the field. This is for every player, every fan, every city, and it's a chance for everyone to be part of something bigger. The wait is over. Come experience the XFL. Your St. Louis Battlehawks return to the Dome Saturday, April 8th, when they battle the Vegas Vipers at 12 p.m. Tickets are on sale now. Visit xfl.com/tickets. That's xfl.com/tickets. Come out and cheer on your Battlehawks. Come experience the XFL.
Need to sell your home, but not willing to play the wait and see game? This is Debbie Monterey with Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. With Gloria Liu, you have seller options to choose from, including a no obligation cash offer from one of Gloria Liu's cash buyers. It's simple, straightforward, and in many cases, you can receive a cash offer in less than 24 hours. No more wait and see game. And you can even pick the closing date. With Gloria Liu and her cash offer program, you are always in control. Not ready for the cash offer? No problem. Gloria Liu has a guaranteed sold program that states Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she will buy it herself, guaranteed in writing. Gloria has solutions and options for every seller. So call today and ask about Gloria's no obligation cash offer program or the guaranteed sold program, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
News, talk, sports. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's the show on KMOX. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji are your hosts. 314-436-7900. A couple of text messages have come in about the situation with Trump and his arraignment today in New York City. One text says that the statute of limitations has expired 2 years in New York. That is for misdemeanors, and apparently the felonies are 5 years in New York. But apparently there is some wiggle room on the statute of limitations if the person in question doesn't spend a lot of time in New York. So if he has not spent a lot of time there over the last several years, the clock stops when he leaves. So if he's in Florida, for example, or at the White House, the clock stops on those things. But I think his attorneys still might argue that on the other end, and we'll see if it's successful. Maybe it will be. Another text says this is only because he is running again. I don't agree with that, because I think the ball had to have been rolling a lot sooner than him announcing that he was going to run for president again in order to get to this point.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I hate to look at this and go, who in the end will this arraignment benefit? I don't know, because we don't know exactly the content of the 34 felony charges. We assume we know they have something to do with the Stormy Daniels hush money. Okay, we know all of that, but is Trump going to be able to leverage this and continue the witch hunt narrative, the strain of populism, anti-establishment that he's been pushing for? Or does the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg have more substance, see something that his predecessor didn't, that previous courts did not? Because at least on the surface, this does not look like a potentially strong case. It just doesn't.
Yeah. And one of the problems with this, and there are many, many layers of issues, is that we're in an environment now politically in this country that even if some people, and this is not everybody, but there are some people that if you show them hard evidence that here's what happened, here's the crime, here's why it's serious, they're still not going to believe it. They're still not going to be down with it. They're still going to say, "Oh, well, this is a witch hunt. Still, you've made this all up." So I think that's the difficulty in this. And for me, I'm keeping an open mind on this. This stuff might really, truly be serious, or it might all be a big nothing. And I'm willing to concede it could very much be a big nothing when we finally get all of the evidence released, and hopefully we'll get that soon. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. We're coming back with Rich Rubino. We'll get a historical perspective on what's happening today next on KMOX.
It's your thing.
What's on Dave Glover's mind?
Used to be, in another part of my life, being a thing was good, unless it was being a bad thing. Then that was bad. Now, being a bad thing is way better than being a no thing. Yeah.
All press is good press.
It's sad. I hope we grow out of this, or grow back into something where if you're known for being a jerk, it's not great for your career.
It's your thing.
Now it is.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays beginning at 1 on KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Maureen talks about her experience using 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
I had for years been dreaming how I wanted my kitchen down to every detail. When 3-Day Kitchen and Bath came, they were thrilled to death that I knew exactly what I wanted. They came back with a drawing, and it was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted. They came in, they did their thing, and it turned out as perfect as I imagined it. The quality of it, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It is beautiful. They were efficient. They were trustworthy. The recommendations were unquestionable, and they were going to do exactly what I wanted. I had a lovely experience.
Start your remodel today by visiting 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Hi, it's Tom Ackerman. Let's vote for Ophthalmology Associates as best laser eye treatment in St. Louis Magazine's A-list competition. Online at stlmag.com.
Spark Co-working St. Louis is a new collaborative workspace located within the PwC Pennant Building in Ballpark Village. The Spark Co-working community supports the thriving St. Louis entrepreneurial ecosystem, where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within one district. The all-inclusive workspace includes furnished month-to-month offices and suites with stadium, city, and arch views, concierge mail service, nitro cold brew coffee on tap, and so much more. Call 314-278-5297 or visit spark-stl.com.
Retired teachers, listen up. Do the work you love on your own terms in the Hazelwood School District. The Hazelwood School District is looking for retired teachers to teach a virtual course offering. Set your own schedule, work from home, and receive competitive pay. You must have your Missouri certification, and employment would not interfere with self-paid retirement or the 550-hour exemption for PSRS purposes. Join the HSD team. Apply today at hazelwoodschools.org.
At 10:30, sunny skies and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. Donald Trump's lawyer says the former president is strong and ready to go ahead of his historic New York arraignment this afternoon. Trump will be escorted from Trump Tower to the courthouse by the Secret Service. It is unclear whether he will have his mugshot taken. He will be fingerprinted, learn the charges against him, and enter a plea expected to be not guilty. It is unprecedented for a former president to be taken into state court for a crime, but is the case against Donald Trump in New York political. SLU law professor Anders Walker points out when DA Alvin Bragg dropped the case last year and the lead investigators quit.
Local district attorneys are elected, and so they're always listening to their base. It may be that in New York, the base wants Trump prosecuted, and so maybe Bragg is feeling some pressure from his constituents.
Walker says we may or may not find out what the evidence is against the former president, but we will find out what the charges are. Florida's Republican Majority Senate approved a bill yesterday that, if approved by the House and signed by Governor Ron DeSantis, would ban abortions after 6 weeks. The state's current 15-week ban is already being challenged in state Supreme Court. Tennessee Republican lawmakers have taken the first steps to expel 3 Democratic members from the GOP-dominant House for their role in a recent gun control protest at the state capitol. Thousands of UConn fans, most of them students, spilled onto campus after watching a broadcast of the Huskies' NCAA tournament win over San Diego State, some pulling down signs and light poles, smashing windows, and causing other damage. And a quick look at the commute. There is road work going on at 180 East at McKelvey Road. The right lane is closed there. And the KMOX forecast, sponsored by Cotton's Ace Hardware. A shower thunderstorm in spots this afternoon into the evening hours. It'll be windy and warm. Look for high of 87. That's near the record set in 1929. Cloudy, windy, and mild tonight. Showers and thunderstorms late this evening that could be strong to severe overnight. Low of 65. Right now it's sunny and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned Cotton's Ace Hardware has the best in-name brands from Weber, Traeger to the Big Green Egg. Free delivery and fuel on any grills over $300, and free assembly and free haul away of your old grill. Find your nearest location at cottonsacehardware.com. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Tamara Green, aka Strawberry, was a beautiful, young, exotic dancer and mother of 3 who was gunned down months after she was connected to a wild party at the Detroit mayor's mansion. The party's rumor, her murderous fact. Who Killed Strawberry is Odyssey's riveting new true crime podcast. 20 years later, Who Killed Strawberry is still a mystery, although there are lots of theories about why she was killed. Was it connected to the party, to a grudge, or to something else? Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 314-720-8081.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
If your stunning home has gone a little stale, it might be time to contact your local CertaPro painters. We bring the power of pro to every job. That's CertaPro's power to do the job right, the first time, every time, and the power to renovate your home without breaking down walls. Take your home from blah to booyah. Get on CertaPro's schedule today at CertaPro.com. The power of pro. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
One of the things that surprises people after they retire is how much they still owe in taxes. The good news is Steve All of the All Financial Group, he's here to show you some strategies that can lower your tax obligations both now and in the future. Call today 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. BWA and All Financial Group, LLC are separate companies.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sunday mornings at 10:15 on Sports on a Sunday morning, and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show.
I'm excited for not only the club but for the fans. This is a special year for sure.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Amy Marks Course, Chris Ranji. It's the show on KMOX. We will be carrying live national coverage of the arraignment today. 1:15 CBS will have that for you. And then there is supposed to be a press conference. Don't know exactly when that begins, but around 1:15, we will definitely be carrying live the national coverage of that today on KMOX. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. We are joined now by Rich Rubino, who is a contributor to the show. We've been talking to him. Well, anytime something bad happens, it feels like we have Rich on. He's a political analyst and he is a historian, and he is with us now on KMOX. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing well. Hopefully that's not an omen, but
You know, it's interesting, Rich, because I will say, since Donald Trump became president in 2016, and then obviously the aftermath, everything with Joe Biden and the 2020 elections, I have had to look up more about the history of the presidency and the Constitution, questions that I never thought I would ask, and I just don't have the answers. Like, wow, I've never heard of that. Has that happened before? What do you do here? What does the Supreme Court do? So there have been a lot of questions, and today is no different because it is a day of firsts.
yes, absolutely. This is absolutely unprecedented. You have never had a situation where either a current president or a former president has been indicted. The closest was probably Richard Nixon. This is after he left office. So when he was in office, he was impeached. He would have been impeached most likely for his role in the Watergate affair. He actually resigned after the House Judiciary Committee voted out articles of impeachment. It then likely would have gone to the full House, which would have voted for impeachment. And then the Senate, according to Barry Goldwater, the senator from Arizona, there were only about 10 Republicans that said they would vote against that would have voted against convictions. So he resigned. He resigned before it could get to that point, and then he likely would have faced a criminal trial. But his successor, Gerald Ford, pardoned Richard Nixon, and it was interesting. Ford had a 70% job approval rating. The day before he pardoned him, went down to 48% that day, and then he just never recovered and lost his chance at a full term against Jimmy Carter. But that's the closest we've had. We've had obviously other scandals, certainly Iran-Contra in the Reagan administration. There was the Whitewater affair under Bill Clinton, and Clinton was actually a witness for the defense. James and Susan McDougal and Arkansas Governor Jim Guy Tucker, all three were eventually convicted, but he was not an indicted co-conspirator. He was certainly not indicted himself. He was simply a witness for the defense.
What precisely was the public support for the way they went after Nixon for the Watergate scandal? I talked about it a moment ago that there was language used calling it a witch hunt. Nixon's people or himself, I can't remember if it was him specifically or people in his camp, called it a witch hunt. They used that term, and that's kind of what's being used now. But what was the public opinion at the time?
Yeah, interestingly, so Watergate really broke in 1972 when Nixon was running for re-election. He had a very kind of feckless opponent in North Carolina, Senator George McGovern, and he actually was re-elected overwhelmingly. He literally won 49 states. The only places he lost were Massachusetts and the District of Columbia. Extremely popular president. In his second term, his job approval gradually went down from about 65 to 60 to 59%, to the point that the day he resigned, his job approval was at 24%. And that's partly the reason why Richard Nixon But partly the reason why Richard Nixon did not survive, and for example, Bill Clinton did. In the case of Nixon, his job pool was at 24%. Both Democrats and Republicans largely lost faith in him. In the case of Bill Clinton, the Democratic Party was largely unified in support of him, in part because of the state of the economy at the time. So he actually, I'm talking about the Monica Lewinsky scandal now, he was about 62, 63%. The day the Monica Lewinsky scandal broke, and actually went up to about 75%, which is not necessarily people saying all of a sudden they like Bill Clinton. It was more that they said they thought it was overzealous to actually prosecute him and have him convicted. So that's why Richard Nixon, it all comes down really to the support of the American people. Richard Nixon at the end of the day did not have it. Bill Clinton at the end of the day had it.
Do you think that this time around it would be similar in that once this goes through, once an arraignment happens, that maybe publicly Trump could gain support? Or are we in a different political environment now?
I think we're a lot more polarized than we were at both of those times in terms of the last election, 94% of registered Democrats voted for Joe Biden. 95% of registered Republicans voted for Donald Trump. We really have this kind of red and blue kind of internecine warfare, if you will, in the country. And I don't think there are very many people that are actually going to be swayed one way or the other about Donald Trump. You know, whether someone's into politics or a low propensity voter, as soon as you mention the name Donald Trump, it's a lightning rod. People will have an opinion of him. I don't think no matter what happens, whether he's convicted or whether he's not convicted, I don't think there are very many people who are actually going to change their positions on Donald Trump.
Donald Trump being a former president, obviously a big deal that plays a big role in how he's treated in this matter. But let's take that out and say he does run again in 2024. Has there been a candidate with as much controversy, indictments, arraignments, or otherwise scandal surrounding him or her going into an election year?
No, not at all. And that's why this is, again, kind of unprecedented or uncharted, if you will, territory. And of course, in Donald Trump's case, he wants to be the first. He wants to be the first president since Grover Cleveland in 1892 to win a non-consecutive term. Grover Cleveland won in 1884, lost re-election in 1888, then came back and won in 1892. And just like Grover Cleveland, Donald Trump will not have a clear field. There are already a couple of candidates that have announced. There are a litany of other candidates that potentially are going to come into the race. And the best case possible scenario for Donald Trump, because he's such a polarizing figure, is as many people run against him as possible and split the anti-Trump vote. That's how he won last time. He only won 44% of actual voters who voted in the primary and the caucus. 56% voted against him last time. Because he was able to consolidate the support of that 44%, he was able to win the nomination. And because the Republican Party, unlike the Democratic Party, which uses proportional representation, uses what's called winner take all, meaning if you get one more vote than somebody else in a state, you win all the delegates in that state. So accordingly, all Donald Trump needs to do in a lot of these states is win 37, 38%. If there are 43 other people splitting the rest of the vote, that is good enough for Donald Trump to garner the nomination.
Political analyst Rich Rubino joining us on KMOX this morning. Do you believe, is there anybody else, maybe not necessarily presidents, we've talked about those already, higher levels of government where something similar like this has happened?
I think that probably, I can't think of anything similar. I mean, obviously you've had issues. Well, actually, I think probably in terms of the state level, one example would probably be, if you remember, Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Of course, everyone remembers Rod Blagojevich. I don't know if I can spell Rod Blagojevich, but I can remember him. And if you can remember, he actually decided to stay. Just if anyone remembers this, was back in 2008. He allegedly under Illinois law, the governor appoints, when there's a vacancy in the United States Senate seat, the governor appoints, has basically plenipotentiary power to appoint the successor. So Barack Obama was going to resign to become president. Rod Blagojevich had that authority. He was caught on surveillance, caught on tape, basically saying that this was, I guess you'd say, a swear word and then the word golden, and that basically he was going to try to, he was going to sell the Senate seat. So he stayed in office as governor of Illinois, extremely unpopular. And he was first of all, he was impeached pretty much unanimously, and he was convicted pretty much unanimously, and he was forced to actually leave office. He was left office in disgrace, actually went to prison. And of course, in between the time of his between the time of his indictment of his conviction. He decided to go on a Celebrity Apprentice and was fired by Donald Trump. This brings it all together. And then when Rod Blagojevich was actually pardoned by Donald Trump and one of those few Democrats for Trump. But that would probably be an example when you have a leader who stayed in office to the point that everyone knew he was going to be impeached. He tried to almost become a martyr, and he was impeached. He was convicted, and then eventually he did go to prison. And now he, of course, is Donald Trump pardoned him, and he's out. So that's probably the closest I can think of, at least in recent times.
Yeah. Speaking of him, there was quite a run of Illinois governors having some legal
Yes.
issues. Is that unprecedented around the country?
Yes, it pretty much is. It's very rare for that to happen. But you're right. His predecessor, Governor Ryan, also had some legal issues and landed basically going back to his days as Secretary of State. He landed up going to jail as well. But it's very rare that you have an actual. I think it's only been on 17 governors that have actually had to resign in disgrace or been convicted. It's very rare. You do have these scenarios once in a while, but I don't know what that says about the about Illinois politics. But it's interesting. I met Jim Edgar, the governor of Illinois, who was there before Governor Ryan. He introduced himself. He said, I'm Jim Edgar. He said, I'm the last governor of Illinois not to be indicted.
I like the passive voice. Like their governors have had a lot of scandal happen to them. Like they're victims.
Pat Quinn was good. He didn't do anything wrong.
Hey,
No.
go ahead,
And the
Rich.
current governor does not have any. Has not been indicted.
Not everybody
him.
but a lot of people hate him. I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people complain about him a lot. But
Hey.
hasn't had any real legal issues yet.
Good for him. Good for him.
That's the paradigm of truth right there.
Yeah.
Okay, now this might be a very broad-ranging question, but politics and scandal go together like peanut butter and jelly. But are we seeing an increase of scandal, investigation, indictments from local politics all the way up through the federal government? Have we seen an increase in the past decade compared to previously, or is it just that we're hearing about it more?
No, I think politicians have actually gotten a lot more honest. No, kidding.
You had me. I was like,
That was Saturday,
really?
Rich. It's April 4th now.
No, I seriously, I don't think so. I think like in any other field, my guess is politics. The people that get indicted and get convicted, or the people that have to resign, obviously garner the most news attention. But I think it's relatively just like any other field. You have crooks, you have honest people, and like anything else, there's a lot of nuances, and most people are somewhere in between. But obviously, you find investigations. I think, for example, you find that a lot of members of Congress, and it's perfectly legal, find out about stocks, for example, and will either sell their stocks or will buy stocks potentially on the information that they have. It's obviously something that's very tempting with all the information that potentially you have there. Are you going to try to make millions of dollars when it's that easy, that type of thing? But you're always going to see examples. And I think one thing I will say that's optimistic, the fact that if a congressman gets indicted or gets convicted, the fact that it's actually news, that it's not just an afterthought, I guess that shows that at least not all politicians are crooks, because it actually does make the news when they do get convicted. And you think of how few actual governors are actually under indictment. But as the old adage says, there was two governors there were two people in jail rather, and one of them said the food was a lot better in here when you were governor.
Rich, appreciate the time. Thanks for visiting with us today.
Thank you so much for having me on again.
That is political analyst and historian Rich Rubino joining us here on KMOX. Way to go, Illinois. George Ryan, Rod Blagojevich.
Those are your people, Ranj.
They are my people.
They are your people.
Hey, but listen, and that was a bipartisan effort. George Ryan was Republican. Blagojevich was a Democrat. Everybody's screwing up over there.
Good for you guys. Some bipartisan scandal.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that. We can't work together on anything these days.
But we can work together on that.
Country should look to Illinois for inspiration.
Amy,
what?
Do you have a thing that... Why do you always say that to me?
Because you always raise your eyebrows like a parent going, Amy?
I'm not chastising you. I just want
right.
you to tell the people about the thing.
Well, I'm really excited to tell them about STL Fenceworks. It is really warm. It's like a summer day out there today. And we were talking about Father's Day plans. And the best Father's Days are when you're hanging out in the backyard and you're barbecuing. really those are the best days for any type of party, gathering, get together, graduation, birthday, anniversary, whatever it may be. And if your backyard could be a little bit improved, maybe it needs a little bit of help or a lot of help, STL FenceWorks can help you out. That is what they do. They make your backyard dreams a reality. And they have been serving the St. Louis, St. Charles, Franklin, and Warren County for over 50 years. A couple things that are really important for you to know. STL FenceWorks is proud and excited to install American-made aluminum and vinyl fence products, as well as American-made decking. STL FenceWorks has teamed up with Jareth Manufacturing. They invented the aluminum fence industry over 50 years ago. All of their product is wholly sourced and manufactured right here in the U.S. And STL FenceWorks is the third largest Jareth customer in the world. They're also the #1 distributor of Wolf Cellular PVC decking, the #1 distributor in the Midwest of Wolf Cellular PVC decking. That's also proudly manufactured in the U.S. and it was voted #1 maintenance-free decking product in the United States. STL FenceWorks can make your outdoor space magical. Now's the time to do it. Call them today. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji here.
Join us Tuesday, April 18th at the Center of Creative Arts as KMOX presents a conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett.
Major will be there to sign his new book, The Big Truth.
You can pre-purchase your copy at Left Bank Books or the night of the event.
A conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, Tuesday, April 18th. The event is free. You do need to reserve your spot, though. For more information and reservations, KMOX.com/events.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
All right. I had a call the other day, last week, from a young man that was referred to me by his father because a piece of piping fell off his furnace. That piece of piping happened to be his flue pipe, which literally rusted from the inside out and fell to the ground. And his wife only seen it because when she went down to the gym to work out in their basement, she goes, "Oh, that's weird. What's this?" Remember, the flue pipe rusted from the inside out and fell to the ground. The furnace was under 10 years old. That was carbon monoxide emitting directly into the house with a newborn baby. Please, please have your furnace checked, regardless of the age. I would refer you to call me. That's Bart Inman. One easy number, 314-293-2600. Very easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600, or BartInman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Who will dare to find a new way to think about energy? One that connects our lives like never before and creates a world where we can breathe easy. NuScale dared. by making 24/7 carbon-free energy a reality with our Voyager SMR power plants. Let's see how bright the future can be when cleaner, safer energy is available to all. NewScale. Power to the world. Power for all humankind. Discover the future of energy at newscalepower.com.
Hey, this is Debbie Monterey. Let's vote for Ophthalmology Associates for Best Laser Eye Treatment in St. Louis Magazine's A-List competition. Online at stlmag.com.
Spring has sprung and we're ready for you at St. Louis Composting. This year, skip the garden center mayhem and conveniently order your compost, garden soil, or mulch for delivery straight to your home. Online at stlcompost.com. That's stlcompost.com.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
Prepare an emergency kit, sign up for local alerts, and make a family communications plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. A public service message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is the show. The show continues on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Yeah, Amy's back today. Look at her. She's doing great. She's
Thanks.
got tonsillitis, severe tonsillitis. Amy, Chris Ranji with you on KMOX. I was going to do another thing, but Amy, did you see this text we
No,
got?
I didn't see this text, and I'm nervous because you're doing that laugh.
Well, here's this text from a 314. It says, "Wow, Amy, glad you're better. In 1922, my grandmother died from her tonsils rupturing because she basically drowned in her own blood. Glad you didn't, so you got that going for you."
That's so sad. Guys, I'm not even used to being on medicine.
It's so funny
so medicated.
because I see this text and I think, oh my God, if Amy sees that, she's going to start worrying. So I have to read it for her.
Yeah, and he did.
I
And
did.
I said, and I quote, "Is it making fun of me? Don't say anything sad. I could cry."
It's not making fun of you.
No.
This person's glad that your tonsillitis hasn't killed you.
I mean, I'm glad too.
It's not going to because we have
Medicine.
modern medicine.
That's right.
In 1922, they were just throwing dirt on it. That's why grandma died.
Oh my God.
All right. Sorry about your grandma. Rest in peace. It was 100 years ago.
Yeah.
She's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, not fine, but you know what I mean. So Andy Trusevich is going to talk. Andy Trusevich joins us next. We'll talk about non-compete clauses after this.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
It's always a little scary when there's a power outage, right? Well, avoid that by calling Reinhold Electric to install an inline generator to your home or business or your vacation home. They do it all the time and they work all over the state of Missouri and Southern Illinois. They can get you hooked up with an inline generator to your place so you don't go without power. EV charging stations, it's a hot item and a lot of people are calling Reinhold Electric to get them installed. Call today, 314-631-1158, online, reinholdelectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
On April 4th, St. Louis County voters will see Prop M on their ballots. But what does Prop M mean for county residents? Prop M states, shall St. Louis County impose an additional sales tax of 3% on retail sales of adult use marijuana sold in the county? The estimated yearly $3.5 million collected from this tax can be allocated to fund police, parks, and roads. Learn more about Prop M at stlouiscountymo.gov/Prop M.
Paid for by St. Louis County, Missouri. Sam Page, County Executive, 41 South Central, Clayton, Missouri, 63105.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions year after year, even when you lose your money? How would you like to decrease fees and limit your risk? Join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio. You can also call me now for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233.
An important message from SNL Coins Gold and Silver Buyers. SNL Coins Gold and Silver Buyers pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, diamonds, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver. Get a quote with a call to SNL 544-3600, SNL Coins 544-3600, or visit SNL 9300 Gravois just east of McKenzie, 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call SNL 544-3600.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's windy and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Former President Donald Trump will go before a judge this afternoon in Manhattan after a grand jury voted to indict the New York businessman. Mr. Trump and his backers say the indictment is a politically motivated move to weaken his White House bid. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Magani.
Trump has seized on the narrative, saying he's raised more than $8 million in less than a week. His campaign released another fundraising note this morning titled, "My Last Email Before Arrest." Trump's also said he's heading to a kangaroo court led by a judge who, quote, hates me. Even Trump's lawyer says that's not true.
This is Matt Piper at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, and what you are hearing behind me are people who are anti-Donald Trump. They're almost louder than the supporters of Donald Trump who were initially here to protest this indictment, but there's dozens of people who are holding signs, one saying, "Coming up, Trump arrested." So these are people who are against Donald Trump, pretty much almost as many as are for Donald Trump, who are here across from the courthouse.
There's a possibility of strong storms today forming in central and northeast Missouri, says National Weather Service meteorologist Alex Elmore. He's a bit more confident about a second wave moving through overnight.
It's not going to be raining the entire night, but we're going to see several waves of storms with that second round during the overnight hours, starting as soon as like roughly 9 to 11 p.m. and continuing through about 6 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
He says the overnight storms don't seem to have as much likelihood of turning severe as the storms that could form during the day today. What's on the ballot today in Jeffco?
There are 3 mayor's races. Herculaneum mayor since 2010. Bill Haggard is challenged by Ryan Wright. Haggard, also the fire chief, typically runs unopposed. City of Hillsborough, the county seat, has incumbent Buddy Russell against Douglas Browning Jr. This would be Russell's second term if he were to win. He was a write-in candidate the first time and won. The mayor in Festus, incumbent Sam Richards, is opposed again by Ward 3 Councilmember Bobby Venz, a repeat race from 2019. All of those cities, including Pevely, have a 3% recreational pot tax on the ballot. All in all, Jefferson County clerk is telling me he's anticipating a 10% voter turnout countywide. In Jefferson County, Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The KMOX business desk, exactly how big are the McDonald's cuts?
Layoff filing notices required by many states are putting some numbers to the plans by Walmart to lay off workers. The company confirmed last month it was cutting positions at some e-commerce warehouses. And the tally now stands at more than 2,000. Reports say the layoffs are the result of increases in automation. I'm Scott Carr, Bloomberg Radio.
KMOX AccuWeather. Camera allowed an early shower, thunder shower as we go through the rest of the morning into the afternoon. Windy and very warm, approaching the record of 87. And then windy and mild tonight. Some showers and thunderstorms, especially late tonight through tomorrow. could be strong to severe. Tomorrow's high near 70, chillier behind the system with temperatures back in the 50s to near 60 with sunshine on Thursday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore in the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Midwest Money. It's not all about money. At Midwest Money, come see the spectacular model railroad train layout the first Sunday of every month. It's free. Come one, come all to Midwest Money. And while you're there, walk across the street and check out the coin shop at Midwest Money. It is windy conditions, 77 in Florissant, 78 St. Peters, and 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info at cardinals.com.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. It's hour 2 of the show today on KMOX. Again, at 1:15, we will go into national coverage on the Trump arraignment. That will happen later on. Again, 1:15, there is supposed to be a press conference in there, and we'll carry it for, I suppose, as long as it goes, but that's later on in the show. Now, we are joined by Andy Trusevich, who's visited with us before, a labor and employment attorney, also an arbitrator and with the American Arbitration Association. Andy joins us now on KMOX. Good morning, Andy. How are you doing?
Oh, good morning. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's good to have you. And we know there is an effort by the Federal Trade Commission to end non-compete clauses in contracts. So basically means if you no longer work for a place, you can't go work for somebody else in a similar industry in a certain area. I guess all non-compete clauses are different. It depends on the contract. So where do you stand on the effort to do this? Because I know that the discussions about this are ongoing through its April 19th, correct?
Correct. So the FTC is taking public comments, and right now they're really only hearing from one side. I am against non-competes. I've been doing this for 31 years now, and labor and employment, trying employment cases representing both businesses and individuals. But non-competes, I think they're antithetical to capitalism, to open, free and fair trade, and they're designed to handcuff employees to their current employer. And the FTC, their study has shown that it's $300 billion worth of wage suppression is going on. And the problem I have with the non-competes is the executives, the CEOs, COOs, when they are terminated and they have a restricted period, they continue to get all paid. They get their golden parachute. Their health benefits continue. But the average American worker that's living paycheck to paycheck, that's under non-competes, may be under a one-year non-compete, but only get paid for a month or 2 months, or even a few weeks. And these non-competes they apply to hairstylists, the security guards. There was a sandwich company that had their sandwich makers sign non-competes. The delivery drivers of the sandwich company sign non-competes. It hurts the average American worker. And if I could just add one last thing on how big business and the lobbyists can control this issue is, you can go back to as far as Clinton administration and George W. Bush, but I won't. I'll start with Obama. When Obama, the Democrats, supposedly the party of the working people, had the House, Senate, and White House, never touched non-competes. Trump, when the Republicans under Trump had the House, Senate, and White House, the Republicans were supposed to be the party of free and fair trade and open competition. They couldn't touch non-competes. So when each party had all three branches of government, they couldn't touch non-competes. And this is the best opportunity to get rid of these anti-American, un-American agreements.
Yeah, just to personalize this, I have had a contract before, and it actually happened in practice where it wasn't that I left the place, but I was asked to leave. And my contract, I believe, was 6 months of a non-compete, but I only got paid for 3. So that means there's a remaining 90 days where you don't get paid, and you are not allowed to work in the same industry in the same town. Or I can't remember what the mileage was, something like 100 miles, which is just absolutely absurdly ridiculous.
It is absurd. And the only way this passes is if the FTC, if listeners like yours go to ftc.gov There's a simple form. It's take less than 2 minutes. And if people are against non-competes because they should be able to go across the street or across town for better wages, or maybe a hybrid working, maybe the working conditions are different. They don't have to pay childcare as much. But you are absolutely right. When you get paid for 60 days, but your non-compete is 6 months or even worse, a year, and this is all you know, this is your profession, your industry, that is un-American. And businesses, the reason they say we have to have non-competes, it's a fallacy. They say, oh, well, people would take our proprietary trade secrets and information to the new or to a competitor. There's already laws on the books, criminal laws on the books and civil laws on the books. Non-competes have nothing to do with that. And 3 states, California, North Dakota, and Oklahoma, have all banned non-competes. And in fact, in North Dakota and Oklahoma banned it when they were U.S. territories before they were even states. Yet businesses will operate in California, North Dakota, and Oklahoma, but that person, that employee in one of those 3 states, working for the same company, but they may be in one of the other 47 states, they're under non-competes, yet businesses are still making money in those 3 states. So it's a fallacy when businesses say, oh, we have to have non-competes. Yeah, you want non-competes because you want to keep your employees' wages down because they can't go get across town or even go across the street for a better paying job. And to me, that's why I am so against it.
Yeah, and that I think what was surprising, most surprising to me, because you think of non-competes and you think of what the spirit of the thing should be, which was more executives who had trade secrets or proprietary information that they were trying to protect. Okay, that makes sense, but it's the extraordinarily wide swath of the American workforce that non-competes negatively affect. Nearly 1 in 5 American workers, and these aren't C-suite. These aren't executives. These are janitors, baristas, school teachers, entry-level workers.
It's like I said, it is there to keep wages down. There's no business rationale for it, and you are exactly right. It was supposed to be for the C-suite executives that get their golden parachutes anyways. And I'm not, against it. One CEO of one of the banks made $85 million last year. I'm a capitalist. That's great for him. But if he gets fired and is under, let's say, 3-year non-compete, he doesn't have to worry about paying childcare or paying the mortgage or paying 2 car payments. If a couple has 2 cars, they work at different places. But can you imagine a couple that works at the same place and all of a sudden they come in and they say, we're doing mass layoffs, which you hear about every day, and both of you are fired. You're both under non-competes. You're going to get paid 3 weeks or a month's salary, but you're under a non-compete for 6 months or a year. That just is not fair.
You mentioned the Obama administration and when he had Congress and how no steps were taken to ban non-competes, but same with Trump. When he had Congress, no steps were taken. Why now? What's different now where there is the momentum and there is the appetite for this?
So the only reason is because the FTC has changed. And that's the only reason that 3 members, it was a split decision, 3 members and one's against banning non-competes, but 3 members are for it. But even Biden, like I said, when he had the House, Senate, and White House, couldn't touch it. There's a bill, and some of the businesses will say, well, there's a bill in Congress circulating, and some of the people on both sides, Senator Rubio on the Republican side has tried Senator Murphy and Elizabeth Warren on the Democrat side, but it's called the Workforce Mobility Act, and it's to try to get non-competes. The problem is when Congress tries to do something, it never gets out of committee. Your grass will grow faster than Congress passing a bill that will help the average American worker. And so that's the only thing that's changed is the board of the FTC. And if it doesn't happen now, it's not going to happen. The Workforce Mobility Act was introduced in 2019, didn't pass. 2020, it didn't pass, or 2021 didn't pass. And it's not even going to get out of committee. It's been re-entered in 2023, and that's not going to pass. The FTC rule is the only way. And my prediction is that they'll ban it, but as soon as they ban it, some businesses group will go and find a friendly federal judge and put a nationwide injunction on it, and let the appeal process begin.
Labor and employment attorney Andy Trusevich is visiting with us on KMOX. Let me try to play devil's advocate for a terrible law. So you have mentioned that there are already laws on the books about leaving a company, going somewhere else, giving proprietary information to them. There are already laws against that. Is it difficult to prove that, though? And is that maybe a good argument for these non-competes?
No, and here's the reason. Great question, but here's the reason. When you leave a place, your IT department, it doesn't matter where you work. Your IT department's going to be able to know, or I know if I went and downloaded all kinds of customer lists or anything like that, proprietary software, or when I leave, and if the new business that they go to, suddenly the customers are being called from the new business saying, hey, I was over at company A. I know we paid, you were selling them the Acme brick for 63 cents a brick. How about doing that for us? In other words, they have that trade secret knowledge and what they were doing. The law on the books are clear. If you go and take information, trade secrets from one company to another, and you're caught, not only does the new company that they could be prosecuted and fined and sued for damages. So one really has nothing to do with another. If someone is going to steal from a company, a non-compete's not going to keep that person from stealing. In fact, I think it almost encourages people to take information. Well, if I'm only getting three weeks of severance and I can't work in this industry, I'm going to download all of this stuff and take it over to a friend and see if they'll pay me some money so I can at least pay for my mortgage and car payments. And the one industry that's exempt from non-competes, lawyers. So how is that fair?
We appreciate the time again, Andy Trusevich. Thank you for visiting with us, and we appreciate the information.
No, thank you for having me. It's such an important issue. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's Andy Trusevich, labor and employment attorney, also with the American Arbitration Association. And it is totally ridiculous, especially in a case where you are let go from a job. It's not your decision. They say, sorry, you can't work here for whatever reason, budget cuts, whatever. Oh, and we'll give you severance, but sorry, once your severance is over, you still have to wait another 90 days before you can get a job.
Crazy.
That's so stupid.
It's crazy.
So stupid.
I think
And it's very common in this industry.
Yes, and I think I didn't realize that even if you are let go, if you're fired, the non-competes are there. And the length of the non-competes, I feel like have gotten longer.
Yeah.
Mine's pretty long. And also sometimes it's just a radius, miles, a different field that you can be in, can't be in. In this industry, the media, it's maybe not just radio, it could be other outlets as well. It's pretty shocking.
It's really bad. And also the idea that not only can you be let go somewhere and not get paid for that entire time, but you can have an actual contract that says here's 2 years, and then they say a year in, we're just gonna let you go, and you don't get that final year. Like, it's just you're just done. They don't have to pay for the rest of your contract. You're just done. So do we have a contract or not?
Did you
it's
know?
a really interesting thing.
Did you have to look up your non-compete, or did you know it when you were asked to leave?
I can't remember. I think I knew it because I know that's how the business is.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very common, and it's dumb. And hopefully the FTC does away with it. So Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, when we come back, hey, want to hear some good Twitter stuff?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even believe it. I thought I didn't know what my phone was doing. Twitter, Elon Musk, it never ends.
There's a lot going on there.
There is a lot.
We'll tell you about it next on KMOX.
Well, Prevent Sprain Socks. You've heard me talk about them. They help with circulation. They help you if you're on your feet all day, whether you're running errands, you're a parent, a grandparent, you're walking the dog, you're a nurse, your job requires you to stand a lot. Prevent Sprain Socks are scientifically designed, patented, and tested for complete ankle support and stability. They were actually created by doctors and physical therapists at the University of Porto in Portugal, and you can get those socks here. Now, you've heard me talk about passive socks. Those are just your regular dress socks that are a barrier between your foot and your shoe. But most of the time, it would be really nice if our socks helped us out a little bit with our daily activities. Again, whether you're working or you're playing a sport, softball season, baseball, volleyball, whatever it may be, Prevent Sprain socks can help you stay healthy. First, if you do have an ankle sprain, the studies indicate that Prevent Sprain socks can decrease recovery time by 50%. They also decrease the severity of the ankle sprain. They can also increase your blood flow, which helps healing if you've got an injury or if you've just got muscle and ankle fatigue. That blood flow prevents swelling and keeps your feet and ankles feeling fresh, not tired, not sluggish. Anyone can benefit from Prevent Sprain socks, whether you are an athlete, you have diabetes, or you have chronic ankle instability. Visit them today. Try them out. PreventSprainSocks.com. PreventSprainSocks.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman, check out the only agents that I trust at thegelmanteam.com.
Hi guys, it's Mark. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction? Did you know that a major medical breakthrough is now available and it isn't a pill? Today, Tuesday, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge. If you're ready to regain the spark in your bedroom, today is your day. Call us now, and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 314-530-7777.
How are balloons made? Where did the dinosaurs go? Why is the sky blue?
Your kids asked you the tough questions because they trusted you. So how about another question for you? Do you have a trusted financial professional to go to for answers on your retirement? Questions like, how much do I really need to retire? When should I take my Social Security benefits? Could my taxes go up when I stop working? We'll leave those tough kid questions to you, but for your retirement questions, Heisey Advisory Group is the team to ask. Call them today at 314-328-4400. We all have important questions. Get your retirement questions answered with help from Heisey Advisory Group. Call now at 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400.
Investment advisor products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor, and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. AEWM and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC are not affiliated companies.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Don Chamberlain, best-selling author from right here in the St. Louis area. And I want to tell you about a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It can potentially give you more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and your principal is never at risk from market declines. Even people who are currently on track have shifted money to this strategy because it could increase their retirement income or may allow them to stop working years sooner than they expected. So if you're over 50 and want to learn how you could potentially get bigger retirement with less money, call and get the free copy of this brand new movie. That's a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth. I'll even cover the shipping and handling. No credit card required. 1-800-807-3838. That's 800-807-3838. 1-800-807-3838.
Serving St. Louis for over 96 years. KMOX.
I would swallow my pride and I would choke on the rise, but the laugh thereof would live inside. I would swallow my doubt, turn it inside out, find nothing but faith in nothing.
Amy, there's some really great stuff going on Twitter. Twitter is so stupid, just generally speaking, and it's gotten worse since Doofus took over. I'm sorry, Genius took over. He's just made some really confounding decisions, and we're going to get to a couple of them because one happened overnight that I didn't. It's just him trolling, is what it is, and you could tell us about that in a second. But Eve 6, you ever heard of that band? That's what we just heard from. The guy who runs the account, and I believe it's the lead singer, and I think his name is Max. Eve 6 had a couple of hits in like the 90s. Okay, that was one of them you just heard. They just decided because of the stupid verification thing. So what Elon has decided is, the blue badges, everybody has the little blue check mark. It used to indicate that the person who has the check mark is who they say they are. So if it's LeBron James, who, by the way, says he's not paying for Twitter. So you got LeBron James won't even pay for Twitter. So if you say it's LeBron, if you say it's Kevin Killeen or Amy Marks Kors, and you have the check mark, you know that it's Amy, and it's not somebody trying to impersonate you. Well, now Elon is changing it to where you have to pay him $8 a month to get the check mark, and it doesn't matter who you are. You could be just some random schmuck, and you pay $8, you have a check mark. So really, it's just kind of muddying the waters here.
And you guys talked about this, I believe, when I was out. But they also removed the blue check mark from the official New York Times account.
We did not get to that.
Okay.
No.
Well, they did it. The official New York Times Twitter account no longer has a blue check mark.
Because the Times said we're not going to pay for our employees to have the check mark. And he's like, fine, I'm just going to take it away. He's such a childish person. It's ridiculous.
He's so petty and churlish and juvenile, like a toddler who never was told no.
He grew up rich, so he probably wasn't. I shouldn't say that. There are rich kids who were told no. But Eve 6 decided over the weekend that he was just going to change the Twitter handle to Radiohead. So he tweeted all weekend as Radiohead and tweeted stuff like, some of it was pretty bad. Like, I can't repeat that one. But there was one that said, Creep is our only good song. And the H in Tom is not silent. Stuff like that. Well, anyway, the account got shut down because he was doing that. And so he decided to start a new account for Eve 6. And he said to prove it is me, and he did a video. He said to prove that it is me, and this is really Eve 6. Here is me playing one of our most famous songs. And it's totally somebody else's song. So he's really trying to take this trolling to a next level because the verification thing is so ridiculous. What it had become over the last several years is, and you have spent some time on Twitter, but anytime there was an opinion given and somebody with a blue check mark who happened to be, I don't know, a reporter or whatever, were to dispute that opinion, the sentiment would always be, oh, here come the blue checks today. It became a status symbol more than just a simple verification. And that's all it's supposed to be, is verification. It is supposed to be this person is who they say they are. Nothing more than that. It is not status. I don't give a crap about my check mark. I'm not paying for it when it goes away here in the next week or two. I'm just not, because I don't care. But it's so dumb how he has become a major troll. He's paid $44 billion to be a troll.
And not even a very good one.
He's not even a good one. But there was more to this story. We didn't leave ourselves enough time. Amy and I have to give you the birds when we come back. We'll do that next on KMOX.
Following the Dave Glover Show at 5 o'clock, it's Total Information PM. Hey, I'm Michael Calhoun. Check in with Kevin Wheeler and me for the latest news and information. Roger covers your commute. Dave Murray's got the forecast. Matt Pauley has sports. We'll take deep dives on local issues and help you be a smarter consumer. At 5:30, the CBS Evening News helps you understand what's happening around the country and the world. Total Information PM at 5 o'clock, right after Dave Glover on the trusted voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you hate standing on concrete floors because of foot, knee, or low back pain?
I couldn't stand on hard surfaces. The pain would get so severe that I couldn't stand it.
Tired of living in pain?
I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day.
You need comfort in your life.
Now I have no foot pain and I can wear any dress shoe that I want.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. Ladies, you can now be comfortable in your favorite high heels. Good Feet. No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
At 11:30, it's windy and 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. Supporters and non-supporters of former President Donald Trump are gathering outside of the courthouse in Manhattan as he prepares to turn himself over to authorities. The former president will go before a judge this afternoon in Manhattan after a grand jury voted to indict the New York businessman. Bill Gabriel, a New York resident, is at the courthouse to witness the history-making day.
To support law and order and watch Trump get booked. It's been a long time coming.
Pamela Manera, a New York City-based Trump supporter, says the indictment doesn't have legs to stand on.
We're just very hopeful that this will go the way everything else goes, because there's really nothing. They don't have anything against him.
We should find out exactly what the New York District Attorney has on Donald Trump.
Maybe Alvin Bragg has got a strategy, or maybe he's found some witnesses within the Trump organization who are now willing to turn. And that was one of the problems before. No one was willing to turn on him. Maybe they've got somebody who's willing to testify against the president.
Anders Walker with SLU Law School says it is unprecedented for a former president to be hauled into state court. One vehicle crash on 44 going west before Barry. The left lane is closed and moving road work to watch out for in the left lane of 364 East at Arena Parkway. Shower, thunderstorm, and spots the rest of the morning. Otherwise increasingly windy and warm with some sun today. High temperature near the record of 87 set in 1929. Overnight tonight, shower, thunderstorm could be strong to severe with a low 65. And tomorrow, thunderstorm or 2 through early afternoon. And then some sunny breaks for the rest of the afternoon with a high tomorrow 70. Sponsored by Cotton's Ace Hardware. When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned Cotton's Ace Hardware has the best in-name brands from Weber, Traeger to the Big Green Egg. Free delivery and fuel on any grills over 300 and free assembly and free haul away of your old grill. Find your nearest location at cottonsacehardware.com. 77 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When children were being fatally injured by window blind cords, Honor Law took on the manufacturers to have dangerous cords banned.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 6189 million.
Broadcasting from the Onder Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
If your home or business just isn't giving you the joy it once did, it's time for a refresh. Contact your local CertaPro painters and put the power of pro to work for you. That's CertaPro's power of doing the job right, on time and on budget. The power of proven experts with the skills to refresh, rejuvenate, and reinvigorate your home or business. Get your project started today at CertaPro.com. The power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Retired teachers, listen up. Do the work you love on your own terms in the Hazelwood School District. The Hazelwood School District is looking for retired teachers to teach a virtual course offering. Set your own schedule, work from home, and receive competitive pay. You must have your Missouri certification, and employment would not interfere with self-paid retirement or the 550-hour exemption for PSRS purposes. Join the HSD team. Apply today at hazelwoodschools.org.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions year after year, even when you lose your money? How would you like to decrease fees and limit your risk? Join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio. You can also call me now for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233.
From KMOX Sports.
Play ball! Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt. Time now for a look at yesterday's game with 9 and 60.
Cardinals and the Braves in the first of a three-game series. A pitch by Woodford. A swing, and there it goes. A home run to left center field, and it is a monster shot by Austin Riley. The pitch. There's a high fly ball, and that's hit to deep center field. O'Neill at the wall. That ball's gone. A 3-run homer for Ronald Acuna Jr., and it's 6-1 Atlanta.
3-1 pitch is hit high in the air to deep left center field. Back to the track. It's gone. A big fly for Paul Goldschmidt.
Carlson swings and lines it to right center field. On the run, Harris, he makes the catch, and this ball game has come to an end. And the Braves win game one of the three-game series 8-4.
Follow the Cardinals all season long on 98.7 FM, 1120 AM, and streaming on KMOX.com.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar.
I'm Woodson Contreras.
I'm Paul DeYoung.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Jordan Hicks, and you're listening to the show on KMOX.
2-2 with 2 on, 1 out. The pitch. There's a high fly ball, and that's hit to deep center field. O'Neill at the wall. That ball's gone. A 3-run homer for Ronald Acuna Jr.
Amy Marks, Coors, Chris Ranji on the show. Not a great day yesterday for the Cardinals. 8-4 final. Braves coming to town. So it's really kind of been for St. Louis here. It's been a thrown right into it. I mean, they don't give you a break right at the start of the season. And I would almost prefer it, I think, for it to happen now. You play the Blue Jays, who are a serious World Series contender. And then you've got the Braves, who have won a World Series. They come into town. They are now 3-1 on the season. The Cardinals are 2-2. Look, the Cardinals have, and yesterday was kind of indicative of the one thing, if you have a concern about this team coming to fruition, and that is what the starting pitching staff is going to be able to give you for the course of the season. This is an offense that's going to hit. They're going to score a lot of runs. And they could have times like they did last year, stretches where offense was harder to come by. Maybe a couple of guys get cold at the wrong time. That could happen to this team. But when the season is over, you're going to look back at the amount of runs scored. And I do believe they'll be one of the best offenses in the National League. But it's going to be all about that pitching staff. And Jake Woodford yesterday, 4 1/3, 6 runs, all of them earned. 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. He allowed 7 hits. He gave up 3 home runs yesterday, which is, look, that is not at all what you're looking for. So concern at this point of the season, there's no more concern after watching that than I had going into the season, because we've all been talking about really the same thing. What's the starting pitching staff ultimately going to give you? We know Wainwright's on the injured list. Jack Flaherty is still looking to have that first or another full season with the team coming back from injury. You don't know what Woodford is going to be. I mean, Steven Matz is getting the start tonight. You don't really know what the pitching staff's going to look like. I think that's really the one concern about this team, and nothing is different now as it was a week ago.
Yeah. Does this happen frequently? Is it more of a concern for you that you are seeing
a lack of sharpness. You're seeing mistakes being made, costly mistakes being made by both the rotation and the bullpen. Right now, there's not really a solid piece of pitching, whether you're looking at, again, rotation, starting rotation, or the bullpen, where okay, well, now we know what we're getting. Now we know it's going to be sharp. Is that bothersome at all, or is that only bothersome if it's like this a few weeks from now?
There's a little bit of concern with Jordan Hicks. Again, somebody who's trying to rebound from a pretty serious injury, and they are having him pitch multiple innings. He gave up a couple of runs in his 2 innings, 3 hits yesterday. So it's kind of back-to-back outings for him that are not all that great. Generally speaking, when it comes to a bullpen, I don't really start to worry about them and truly worry until you're getting a couple of months into the season. Bullpens they fluctuate. They're volatile. With the exception of certain premium relievers, like the guys who are really, really good and they're good. With the exception of guys like that, established relievers, a lot of the rest of them are up and down from year to year. So I'm not really worried about the bullpen. It's more like my radar is paying attention.
Yeah.
They're on the radar. I notice them. We'll take a look. I am still more concerned with the starting rotation than anything else.
It's so interesting because the baseball season is just so long. It sounds like I'm poo-pooing it right at the beginning of the season, but it is. We talked to Mike Claiborne how when you look at playoff pictures, where you're going to stand, what you've got as a team, you can't even talk about it until Flag Day. That's
his
thing.
Big
marker. But when you're looking at the beginning of a season, we've talked about the issues that the Cardinals pitching is having with batters, and you're looking at the batting average. Right now, the batting averages, because there's so few at bats, they just swing back and forth like a grandfather clock, pendulum. When that's how it just whoop. When do you start to pay attention to the batting averages, that they count for something? How many bats for you?
I mean, I guess I'm looking at, I would do it by months. I guess I'm looking at a couple of months here. I don't really take 1 month and extrapolate anything from it because it's not unusual for guys to have really good months and then follow it up with a lousy one. So probably 2.5 months of the season. I think you have a pretty good idea of what your team is and what your lineup's going to be. I'm not really worried about batting average as much as I am. How are they slugging? How is it a lot of extra base hits? Are we talking doubles and home runs as opposed to just getting singles? That's the kind of thing I'm looking at. How good they are getting on base. They're hitting for average right now, as good as anybody in baseball, but that's not the number I think ultimately I'm going to look at. There's another thing, and we talked about it yesterday, I believe, or maybe I think it was yesterday with Matt Pauley, just how in the first, now it's for the Cardinals 4 games into the season, just how quick these games are moving along, how quickly they're moving along. Like I said yesterday, you weren't here for the conversation, but I don't really, what players and how they're performing in 4 games, out of the first 4 games of the season, you can't really take much away from that. It could mean something, it could not. What I am extrapolating for the rest of the season is how the new rules have changed the game. And I really can't get over it. I just keep, and maybe this will subside in a week or two for me, but I keep being astonished by how much action is happening in baseball and how quickly games are moving along. And you look up and yesterday felt like a pretty long game. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
2:46. And it felt like a long game because we're seeing a lot of games finish at 2:20 or 2.5. And it's not necessarily about the time of game, unless, of course, you have kids in school and you have gone to the ball game and it's a 7:00 start and you get home at 9:45 or 10 o'clock as opposed to getting home at 11 or 11:30. That's a pretty big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So it will make a difference for families in the months of April and May, and then again in September. Like, this is a really good thing that's happening in baseball. And to me, this is a thing you can't extrapolate because offenses are up, Stolen bases are up dramatically, like doubled. There are so many more stolen bases in the game right now than there were at this point last year. So the offense is there. There's action on the field. There's stuff happening, and the games are not taking 4 hours.
And that's huge. The 4 hours, because I have heard, the argument, well, if you love baseball, you're still going to love it if the game's 15 minutes shorter. If you don't like it, 15 minutes isn't going to change your mind. But what we're seeing is it's more significant than that. And I do think it's easy, because to be honest, I'm pretty sure I made that argument before, a couple of years ago and years leading up to this, going, listen, this is just the nature of baseball. But when you look at a hockey game and what a tidy
NBA game too.
Yes, reliable package an NHL game is, because here are the 3 periods. They're not going to go to a long, lengthy overtime. There's no extra innings. You know what you're getting into with a hockey game
Right.
time-wise. The commitment feels so much more doable than the average baseball game, which, as you mentioned, could be 4 hours, could be longer.
And think about this. You're still getting way more baseball, even if the games are they end in 2 hours and 15 minutes, which isn't going to be the standard. Right now, they're averaging 2 hours, 38 minutes across the league, which is really good. Even if they're shortened to an even 2 hours, you're still getting way more baseball throughout the course of a regular season because they're playing double the games. There's so much baseball being played. I think it's better if the games only last 2.5 hours.
I've never seen an entertainment product or an information product, whether it is a newspaper or poetry, music, or a sporting event, where the product isn't improved by concentrating the product. The more you can concentrate, the more you can boil out the water, the richer, the denser you make that product, the better it is. And I do feel like we're seeing that already with baseball.
Yeah, there's no question about that, because you're taking what should be a couple of hours worth of action and you stretch it out to 4 hours. So there's so much time in between action that nothing is happening. I'm sorry, but that's just not fun to watch.
Yeah.
It isn't fun to consume. It isn't fun to watch on TV. And I love baseball, but I hate when dudes would stand around. Pitcher gets the ball, has to take 45 seconds to decide and get himself ready to throw. Batter's adjusting his gloves after, by the way, not even swinging at the pitch prior. He still has to adjust his gloves, even though they should be perfectly tight. I don't know what the problem is here, sir. You're all good. We're cutting that out of the game. More stolen bases. For anybody who is a casual baseball fan, and I know this is such a baseball city, still a lot of the people who consume baseball in St. Louis are casual fans. You're going to like this product a whole lot more.
Yeah.
You're going to like listening to Cardinals baseball on KMOX and on the Odyssey app, watching on TV, going to Busch Stadium. You're going to enjoy this product a whole lot more if you've been reluctant to get to a ball game.
Yep.
I mean, that doesn't mean there won't be some long games every now and then, but for the most part, they are going to be much, much snappier than they have been, and it's such a great thing. So Cardinals lose yesterday 8-4. They will play again tonight. Our broadcast will start at, do we know what time?
Is it 11:15?
No, tonight.
Oh, tonight. Sorry, I was thinking of tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's a day
Tomorrow
game.
is a day game.
So I don't know. What time's it? I don't know.
I am too medicated for
Thanks
this
for the help,
question.
Dave. I don't know what time the game starts. Very, very helpful. I don't know.
Sorry.
It's a night game. Come back and make sure you just listen to KMOX all day. And
Yeah, if you have
you'll
us
run
on
into the
all
ball
day, then
game.
you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, right?
You're ready to go. It's like a running start into the baseball game.
It is a first pitch tonight of 6:45.
Excellent.
6:45.
That's
So we'll have pregame at
perfect.
what, 6:10?
Okay. Ronch, you're oof.
I don't know. Just keep the station on all day, okay? It's not that hard. Get the Odyssey app. Amy Marks, Coors, Chris Ranji. When we come back, we'll talk a little more sports, but as it pertains to the White House as well. That's next on KMOX.
Well, it is just about time for me to make an appointment with Dr. Birdie over at the Ophthalmology Associates. You know them as the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Brusati, and Dr. Andy Royer. They are the doctors because they have treated more than 250 doctors. That's more than any other practice. And that's why they are been nominated to the 2023 A-list of St. Louis Magazine, and you can vote for them. You can help them win by going to stlmag.com/A-list, and you can vote for Ophthalmology Associates in the laser eye treatment category in health and wellness. You can vote every day if you want to. And yep, I mentioned the laser eye treatment category. They do LASIK surgery. And I know it can be kind of an intimidating process. And Dr. Birdie is awesome. They don't push it on you. They let you know if you're a good candidate or not. They let you know what it involves. They have really helpful, informative videos that you can watch. Dr. Birdie has already given me some suggestions to make sure that I am at my very best if I go in for LASIK surgery, such as taking fish oil, which helps keep the tear ducts and lubricated around your eyes. Just very practical, very informative. They take the time to sit with you, talk to you about your eyes, whether it's about LASIK, dry eye, or just, you need to get your contact prescription updated. Whatever it may be, the doctors, they can help you out. Visit them today at youridoc.com, youridoc.com, or 314-966-5000.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji here.
Join us Tuesday, April 18th at the Center of Creative Arts as KMOX presents a conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett.
Major will be there to sign his new book, The Big Truth.
You can pre-purchase your copy at Left Bank Books or the night of the event.
A conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, Tuesday, April 18th. The event is free. You do need to reserve your spot, though. For more information and reservations, KMOX.com/events.
YMCA camp counselors get to laugh, play, and lead youth in meaningful camp experiences. Be outside. Be in charge of the fun. That's a summer job with benefits. Hiring for day camp, Y Camp Lakewood overnight camp, and lifeguards. Visit gwrymca.org.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. As the state's chief legal officer, I will enforce the laws as written. I will hold accountable those who violate state and federal law by knowingly hiring unauthorized workers. By paying lower wages and avoiding taxes, businesses using unauthorized workers put honest ones at a competitive disadvantage. Report businesses that employ unauthorized workers at ago.mo.gov.
Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Labor and Industrial Relations. This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
Who will dare to find a new way to think about energy? One that connects our lives like never before and creates a world where we can breathe easy. NewScale dared by making 24/7 carbon-free energy a reality with our Voyager SMR power plants. Let's see how bright the future can be when cleaner, safer energy is available to all. NewScale. Power to the world. Power for all humankind. Discover the future of energy at newscalepower.com.
On April 4th, St. Louis County voters will see Prop M on their ballots. But what does Prop M mean for county residents? Prop M states, shall St. Louis County impose an additional sales tax of 3% on retail sales of adult use marijuana sold in the county? The estimated yearly $3.5 million collected from this tax can be allocated to fund police, parks, and roads. Learn more about Prop M at stlouiscountymo.gov/Prop M. Paid for by St. Louis County, Missouri. Sam Page, County Executive, 41 South Central, Clayton, Missouri, 63105.
Charlie Brennan here. Last year, Beth and I discovered water in the ceiling near the chimney in the front of our house. We immediately called Morelli Tuck Pointing, St. Louis's premier tuck pointer since 1991. The Morelli team then tuck pointed the front and the rear chimneys above the roof and spot tuck pointed below the roof. Morelli used a waterproof mortar that perfectly matched the existing mortar. Then the guys re-cemented the cap, sealed the flashing, and waterproofed the chimney. They then cleaned up so you could never tell any work was done. The Brennans no longer see any water in our front room, and I think if you live in a brick or stone home in need of repair, call the company that's received the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back since 2005. Morelli, winner of the BBB Torch Award. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. MorelliTuckPointing.com, 314-645-1387.
Countdown to Earth Day. Just 18 days to go. When using CFL bulbs, use the 15-minute rule. Turn CFLs off if you are out of the room 15 minutes or more. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Join the thousands of St. Louisans who donate to Ronald McDonald House Charities of St. Louis. Your donation will assist families in staying together during medical emergencies. Donate today at rmhcstl.com.
Track your blood donations right from the palm of your hand and stay updated on special promotions. Download the American Red Cross Blood Donor app today. To learn more, go to redcross.org.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
The show on KMOX.
That three rims out. LSU has it. Morris has to get it across. Kim Mulkey, in year 2, has orchestrated a turnaround for the ages. LSU has captured its very first national championship.
LSU with a championship, the women's championship on Sunday. They beat Iowa. The call on ESPN. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji are with you today on KMOX. And there was a lot around that game as it pertains to taunting, which is just an extraordinary. By the way, let me just say this: taunting is fine. It's fine at high-level sports like that. Multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar sports, or with, professionals. Taunting is fine. I don't have, it's part of the entertainment. But with that game, so LSU beat Iowa, and on the Iowa team, there's a woman named Caitlin Clark, who is an extraordinary basketball player, and she just lit up the entire tournament, but her team lost on Sunday. And it is pretty much been a historical precedent forever to invite champions, whether it's World Series, Super Bowl, Stanley Cup, NCAA championship teams to the White House at some point to honor them. This has been going on for years and years and years. Well, yesterday, Jill Biden, who is the first lady of the United States, had attended the game. And she said that last night I went to the game and she was speaking at an event in Denver. And she said, I know that we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So we hope LSU will come. But, I'm going to tell Joe, I think Iowa should come too, because they played such a good game. Now, I think she's probably just being nice.
Yeah, I can hear the tone in which she says it. I don't know if she's a huge sports fan. I don't know if she's a huge basketball fan. It sounds like a politician, the First Lady of the United States, saying, it was such a great game. I'm diplomatic. Everybody played really well. Iowa should come too. It seemed pretty.
I just want everyone to have a good time.
That's exactly right.
That's what it sounds like. But this is really stupid. And I hope they walk it back. And her press secretary did kind of walk it back today, saying that we hope the LSU Tigers come. She just wanted to honor Iowa. But you can't invite the runner-up. This is not the precedent you set. Just absolutely silly. But, she was just being, I think, nice. I hope. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji, final hour coming up next on the show.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
What if you could do business without busy work? With Ramp, you can. Ramp is the future of finance with smart automation, corporate cards, and spend management. Just imagine, no more expense reports or shuffling wrinkled receipts.
No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea with smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/finance. That's ramp.com/finance to get $250 for signing up. That's ramp.com/finance.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, I'm Michael Calhoun. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
KMOX is covering breaking news.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol has issued an Amber Alert for a missing child out of Franklin County, specifically St. Clair, Missouri, the 1100 block of Bordeaux Street. The 1-year-old white male named Harvey Kane, wearing a fire truck pajama with a scratch over his left eye, was inside of a parked vehicle, a 2019 silver Dodge Grand Caravan with a license plate GJ5N2D, and that is a Missouri license plate. The vehicle does not have a front license plate. The 1-year-old was inside of this minivan with inside, and then the victim was inside as the vehicle was stolen by the suspect, described as a white 30-year-old male wearing a baseball cap, dark hooded sweatshirt, and khaki pants. Again, the Missouri State Highway Patrol has issued an Amber Alert for 1-year-old Harvey Kane wearing fire truck pajamas inside of a 2019 silver Dodge Grand Caravan GJ5N2D, and the suspect is a 30-year-old white male with a baseball cap, dark hooded sweatshirt, and khaki pants. Former President Donald Trump is expected to turn himself in to face criminal charges in a New York City courtroom, and in the history of this country, that has never happened before. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
We're going to hear different things inside the courtroom versus outside the courtroom, which is something that we talked about in the aftermath of the 2020 election. Key into what you hear the lawyers say under oath or in the courtroom where they can potentially be punished for misstatements versus what is said outside. And so I think outside the courtroom, we're going to hear more of the same, that this is a witch hunt, that this is the politicization of the legal system.
The street outside is lined with media and a heavy police presence. AP correspondent Mike Sisak is there.
Across the street from the courthouse, there are tents from about a dozen news outlets. There are hundreds of media representatives, photographers, reporters, cameramen and women, and of course, hundreds of law enforcement officers. We've already seen some street closures around the courthouse, the streets closest to where Donald Trump is going to arrive this afternoon. And we've also seen many, many barricades put up around the courthouse, much more security than we've seen in recent days.
Missouri Republican Congresswoman Ann Wagner says she has issues with the prosecution of the former president.
We've got two problems here. He's undermining America's faith in our justice system again, and he should be focused on fighting crime rather than weaponizing the justice system.
Wagner was a guest on 97.1. And this is just in. The Highway Patrol is reporting that the Amber Alert, that the victim they were searching for, the 1-year-old, has been found. The State Highway Patrol says they have found the 1-year-old they were searching for with the Amber Alert, but the suspect is still at large. It's Election Day.
This is Kevin Killeen in Collinsville, where a drag queen story hour held at the Collinsville Public Library last summer has sparked a call for reform. 7 candidates vying for the 5 spots on the Collinsville Library Board. The reformers saying their slogan is "Let the kids be kids." Voter turnout is steady in Collinsville, but no indication yet as to which side will triumph and hold sway over the Collinsville Library.
The Dow from Steeples down 241 points to 33,359. We've got debris to watch out for. 270 going south at 370, and it's in the center lane, so 270 south at 370, watch out. One vehicle crash on 44 going west before Barry. That's got the left lane closed.
Can't rule out a thunder shower early, and then windy and very warm heading into the afternoon with some sun. We'll get up near the record of 87. Showers and thunderstorms start to pop in later tonight and continue into tomorrow with the potential for flooding downpours, hail, damaging winds, and possibly a tornado. Tomorrow's high 70, cooler Thursday, upper 50s with sun. With AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Steve DeVore in the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by MERS Goodwill. Donate your vehicle today to MERS Goodwill and get 4 field box tickets to a 2023 Cardinals game. It's easy and towing is free. Donate online at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill. 79 degrees right now downtown. We've got 82 St. Peter's and 80 in Florissant. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info at cardinals.com. Time to rewind the show. This is the show recap.
Amy Marks Kors is back. Chris Ranji on KMOX. It is Trump arraignment day. Mm-hmm. The former president is in New York. He is getting ready to leave Trump Tower to go to the courthouse to face his arraignment today. We will have live network coverage beginning at 1:15 today, when we should have a resolution. We'll see. There have been protests going on in New York. It doesn't sound like it's anything huge. There haven't been any serious problems as far as we have heard. But I've got CNN on here in the studio, and they have just been wall to wall with cameras posted outside Trump Tower. Yesterday, we watched the plane take off after the motorcade left his house. And my feeling about this is I can't stop looking at it, mainly because it's the only thing to look at, but also because I'm curious. But I also wish I didn't have the option. I wish we weren't wall to wall with this.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I've seen some pushback to the wall-to-wall coverage of this as far as potential protests or kerfuffles popping up in New York or elsewhere. I don't think the energy is there, even among his most ardent supporters. There is a lot of fatigue of all the drama that comes along with Donald Trump. So obviously, you want things to be peaceful. I expect them to be peaceful. Will be interesting to see exactly the evidence and the substance of the charges brought against Trump by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, because as we mentioned, his predecessors had seen, maybe misdemeanors. Previous courts had said, yes, the business falsification of business records, misdemeanor, and that's normally prosecuted in New York State as a misdemeanor. But the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, did increase the charges to Class E felonies. That is the lowest level of felonies in New York State. And he did so because he said that conduct of falsifying business records was intended to conceal another underlying crime. More than that, what else is in those charges? We don't know. That remains to be seen.
So also today is an election day in St. Louis and in parts around the country. So St. Louis City and County get to vote on various things. In the city, we know that the wards are being decreased from 28 wards in the city down to 14. All of those wards are on the ballot today, wards 1 through 14, as well as the Board of Alderman President, which it will be Megan Green running uncontested there. So that election is happening, but two things are on the ballot of note. One is Proposition M in the county, which will be an additional 3% tax on recreational marijuana. The county wants it. Sam Page and the St. Louis County Executive have done a campaign, and they have paid something like $300,000 in order to have this thing passed, which they believe would generate between an additional $3 and $3.5 million in tax revenue just from recreational marijuana.
Yes, so that tax proposal will be on 50-plus municipal and county ballots. You also have new mayors, or the mayoral vote being going on in St. Charles, Bridgeton, Ferguson, East St. Louis, a few other cities. This is not the most important thing of the day when it comes to Election Day, but I always find this interesting. The Missouri Ethics Commission has disqualified 2 of the 3 candidates who are running unopposed for the 3 seats in the on the Melville School Board. Peggy Hassler, who is the school board president, and Jean Preto, who is a board member, they've been disqualified by the Missouri Ethics Commissions, even though they're running unopposed, because they failed to turn in their personal financial disclosure reports by January 17th. Unless I'm missing something, my question is, why are you even running? You're running unopposed. You lost this election unopposed because you didn't turn in the paperwork. If you're not turning in the paperwork, maybe the school board isn't for you. I'm not sure. Am I missing something? Or does this seem just you're kind of lazy? Like, yeah, I was going to run for school board. I mean, I'm the school board president, but I didn't turn in my paperwork. And so even though no one's running against me, I didn't get it.
Well, that's fun.
Like, I'm not trying to be cruel.
No,
it's
I know what you're
just
saying.
Weird to me. Why are you even running? If I didn't like paperwork, I wouldn't run for an office like that. At any rate, in turnout, St. Louis City, they're expecting 18%. St. Louis County expecting 15 to 20%. In St. Charles, they're expecting 10%. In Jefferson County, they're expecting 13%.
What was the number for the primary a few weeks ago in St. Louis? Was it 3%?
Ooh, baby.
Was that right?
That's pretty
like
low.
Something like 3.8%. I might have the number wrong, but it was a very, very low percentage of people who turned out to vote for that. We also talked a little bit about Twitter, and we didn't get to the other thing that happened because Elon Musk is now just a $44 billion troll.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, but I was on Twitter yesterday. And when I would click on a link or click on something to go to a different page of Twitter, instead of the blue Twitter bird that you always see, it was the Dogecoin dog, the Shiba Inu dog.
Yeah.
And it kind of, again, I'm super medicated. And I thought, oh, that's weird. It's the Dogecoin dog. And I almost thought it was me. I thought I'm hallucinating. And then I thought, well, I probably missed something. But if you go to the Twitter main page, Elon Musk has gotten rid of the Twitter bird and replaced it with the Shiba Inu dog, which was associated with Dogecoin. By the way, the cryptocurrency Dogecoin, which was created as a joke, spiked about 30% yesterday after the Twitter logo, I guess you could call it, of the Bluebird was replaced with the Dogecoin dog. It's so ridiculous. This is such a bizarro world. And the only way to make Twitter and Elon Musk weirder is to throw in the Dogecoin joke cryptocurrency dog.
There's a lot wrong with all of this that's going on with Twitter. And I know that not everybody is on Twitter. It is not the most important thing in the world. And a lot of people listening are probably like, I don't care what happens with Twitter. And you know what? That's perfectly fine if you feel that way. I get why you do. But it has been over the last, 15 years? It has been a really valuable tool for a lot of people. It's been valuable for me to get information, to get breaking news, whether it's world news, U.S. news, sports news, whatever it is. It's been extremely valuable in that way. It's also been extremely valuable in being able to reach out to people. Some of the great guests that we have on here, that I've had on in the past, we have gotten because people are accessible via Twitter. And you can reach out to them and they'll get back to you. And then you have an interview and it's really great and it's valuable and it ends up being good for the listeners of shows like this. So I've always, despite the flaws, and it has had many, many flaws, it has been overall a pretty good tool. It's also been a good tool for people in countries like
China.
Because those people are able to get information they're not otherwise able to get from their own government.
Yeah, and I will say part of the tool being valuable with Twitter is because they had the traditional blue check mark system.
Yeah.
And I believe, are we going to breaking news?
Do we have some sort of breaking news? We're going to send it to, is it Michael in the newsroom right now? Michael Calhoun has something breaking for us here on KMOX.
It's 12:13 on the Voice of St. Louis, and we take you to a CBS News special report with Nora O'Donnell.
A mugshot is not expected to be taken, and there are no plans to put him in a holding cell.
This is as former President Trump gets into his motorcade from Trump Tower. Helicopter shot showing his vehicle making its way from Trump Tower to the downtown Manhattan Criminal Court. Again, here's CBS News anchor Nora O'Donnell.
For an arraignment before the judge. This is when we will see now defendant Trump. There's one camera there to record the few steps from door to courtroom. Trump could make remarks here. Our source tells us that he does want to do that. Let's bring in CBS News consultant and former NYPD Deputy Commissioner Richard Esposito. And Richard, tell us what happens next.
Well, right now, Nora, there's a final sweep being done of the building by the NYPD bomb squad, and they have a team in place outside the courtroom so that whatever happens next, they want to make sure the proceedings are secure and safe. What we'll see on the 7th or 9th floor, wherever the DA does the processing, is, as you said, about 20 minutes. Which is about 2 hours less than it would take a normal defendant to have fingerprints go up to Albany, run against the databases, and come back. So they've expedited it for the former president.
Richard Esposito, thank you so much. Also want to bring in A.T. Smith, the former Deputy Director of the United States Secret Service and our CBS News law enforcement analyst. And A.T., so good to have you with us. There is an addition to all of the NYPD Blue, NYPD, I should say, and the FBI. There's also a significant Secret Service presence on the ground here, correct?
That's right, Nora. And they have been working hand in hand with not only the NYPD, but the New York State court officials to make sure that this goes seamlessly.
How many do we know? I mean, the number had been talked about, more than 100 Secret Service agents.
Well, they don't get into numbers, obviously, for the obvious reason. We don't want to tip their hand in that way. The Secret Service normally never does that, but I would safely say that 100 plus is a good guess.
A.T. Smith, good to have you. I want to bring back in Ricky Kleeman because there are so many questions about legally what we will learn from this indictment. Will Donald Trump be charged with a conspiracy?
He may.
What would that mean?
Well, one of the things that is clear is we know what we don't know. And what we don't know is a lot. And that concerns, what are these charges really? Could he be charged with a conspiracy? Absolutely. With Michael Cohen, perhaps with Alan Weisselberg and other people from the Trump organization, into how they structured the legal payments, that is, payments for legal fees to Michael Cohen, which is the false business record. But we also don't know, Nora, if there's going to be evidence that will come forth in the indictment about Karen McDougal. We don't know if there may be other tax counts. We will know all of this in a matter of a couple of hours.
And just to build on Ricky's excellent point, when you're looking at this case for so long, we've heard about Michael Cohen, the former fixer, and his testimony is going to be crucial. Well, I sat down with Michael Cohen over the weekend, and he assured me, again, this is his word, that this case is about more than Michael Cohen. It's about documents. It's about communications, emails, text messages, financial records that paint the picture. And when we read this indictment today, it's going to be so interesting to see how District Attorney Bragg details how he's making these charges and whether it's about a witness and testimony or about documents. Because at the end of the day, the documents could have a lot more weight than what certain witnesses have to say.
Which is, I believe, originally what got Michael Cohen into trouble. He said, I didn't do this. And then the FBI went and searched his place and found out, actually, there's evidence here in documents. So we don't have to take your word for it. That was what started his undoing that ultimately ended him up in jail. So the documents will speak louder than any one person.
And they may speak at the time of trial rather than at the time of indictment, because we don't know how detailed this indictment is going to be. There's something called a talking indictment, and what happens in a talking indictment is you really detail that Michael Cohen allegedly called Donald Trump, or that there was a conversation of Michael Cohen, Donald Trump, and Alan Weisselberg, or whomever. This may not be that detailed, so we may not know everything now. We will eventually know it if there is a trial.
I want to bring in Scott Frederickson. He is a former federal prosecutor and joins us now. And Scott, thank you for all your contributions to CBS News on this case. What will you be looking for in this indictment?
Oh, good afternoon, Nora. I think the critical thing for most experienced counsel here is whether there are additional counts alleging related conduct separate from the Stormy Daniels payoff, the alleged falsification of business records and campaign finance? Or is this all only going to be about the Stormy Daniels case? If there are charges based on new conduct that allege additional violations, that makes the DA's case a whole lot stronger. There's a good deal of thought out there that Trump's counsel are going to have a very good shot to try and knock this case out before it ever gets to a jury, just based on the novel legal theory here. And that's why how this indictment is designed, if you will, what additional counts may be alleged that are new or related but different conduct is going to make a huge difference. So I think that's the critical piece we're all looking for today.
You're listening to CBS News live coverage from New York City. President Trump, former President Trump, making his way to the Manhattan courthouse for his processing and arraignment today. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with CBS News in a moment after this on KMOX.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The average family home takes on 40 pounds of dust per year. Dust and debris can worsen allergies, asthma, and cause discomfort in your home. Call 314-474-2020 and get $75 off any of their air duct cleaning packages. 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com.
Hi, guys. It's Mark. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction? Did you know that a major medical breakthrough is now available and it isn't a pill? Today, Tuesday, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge. If you're ready to regain the spark in your bedroom, today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 314-530-7777.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterey. And when I make a recommendation, you can be sure that I've done my homework and I only promote the best. So when it comes to real estate, I only recommend one realtor, and that is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been recommending Gloria for years now. I've met her clients, I've seen her systems, and she's the only agent I would trust to sell my home. Gloria Liu's proven track record for selling hundreds of homes this year alone should give you the confidence that she will help you sell for the most money, or the fact that Gloria already has the buyers. Buyers looking to buy right now. That's why Gloria will actually guarantee in writing to sell your home at your price and your time frame, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or you can find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
KMOX is in special news coverage.
Let's take you back now to a CBS News special report.
Attorney trying to do prove criminal intent. And it's not just about Stormy Daniels, as Scott said. It's perhaps about building a case about a culture around Donald Trump, around the National Enquirer, with Michael Cohen at the center, to have these so-called catch and kill operations. And that could show an intent to conspire to have these expenses done in a certain way, to hide them from the authorities, to hide them from the business expensing reports, and to hide them from campaign finance officials at the federal level.
Now we see Donald Trump arriving at Manhattan Criminal Court in Lower Manhattan. This has been the site of many historic cases, given the power of the Manhattan DA's office. But the president there, most of this courthouse has been cleared out. Especially the 15th floor where the president will meet the judge there and be read that indictment. You can see a number of Secret Service agents and other law enforcement. And there's Donald Trump waving to the cameras and to the crowd. As we noted, he will be brought in a side door there, brought up to the 7th floor via the judge's private elevator to be arrested. Donald Trump to be arrested, read his rights, and be fingerprinted. We do not expect a mugshot, as the former president's own attorneys have said publicly. Why do you need a mugshot of the most recognizable man in the world?
It is
also some security concerns about it as well, since in New York they're kept private.
It really is interesting. You hear the Attorney General, you hear others saying, hey, no one is above the law, right? But what we're seeing with this process is that this former president is being treated differently than other people who would go before that court. I think it's really interesting to see how this is unfolding. Obviously, it is unprecedented, but while no one may be above the law, when you talk about someone who's wealthy, someone who has political power, they are being treated differently by the court. That no mugshot, no perp walk that we all like to see.
It's in your wheelhouse. It all has to do with security. It's not that he's being treated differently because he's wealthy or is powerful. It really is he's being treated differently because of security.
Well, that's true, but they could do the mugshot.
Well, the mugshot is interesting because there have been a lot of sources who have said, well, the equipment isn't in that particular place to do the mugshot. Some have said, well, he's so recognizable. But others have said that they didn't want to do the mugshot because he was going to fundraise off of that mugshot and that would be unseemly. mugshots traditionally, as they come out in New York, are not given out to the public. But this is one you bet your bottom dollar would have leaked, and I bet a lot of money would have been made.
Yeah.
Let's bring in our senior investigative correspondent, Catherine Herridge, because she is down there outside the courthouse and can describe the scene there. Catherine?
Nora, good to be with you from outside the courthouse. There's a real sense of tension in the air, kind of a mix of anticipation and also apprehension, as the former president is just a few minutes away and history will be made. In the last 90 minutes, the security has really locked down around this courthouse. While we could still be mobile, we went to the back of the courthouse, and the roads there, which may be the preferred entrance for the former president, have been locked down and barricaded for several blocks. They're also using garbage trucks to block key access points. And I can tell you, having worked in this space for 2 decades, there is a very visible security presence that is by design to be a visible deterrent. And then there is the security, which is not so visible. I can see with my trained eye a number of plainclothes police officers. They have been consistently moving through the crowd, and also members of a special tactical assistance response unit. They've been fixing surveillance cameras over this area in the last few days. These cameras are for the collection of digital intelligence, for crowd control, also destruction, and to identify emerging threats. So what we've got here is not only sort of a major, but also meticulous security presence, and I think by its very nature, historic as well. Just though in parting over to my right, we've had the protesters. It's been relatively quiet. They are barricaded, the pro-Trump group versus the counter-protesters. There was a little bit of a ruckus earlier when Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene came and then entered and left that area. And if you can just hear, we're starting to hear some of the crowds. I think the former president is getting very close. Nora, I'll send it back to you.
Catherine Herridge, thank you, noting that security presence there. And as the well-respected former NYPD Commissioner Bill Bratton noted in an interview with Jeff Pegues earlier this week, one of the things they're concerned about is a lone wolf, someone who could carry out an attack. And so that's why everyone on high alert today. No specific threats, according to Jeff Pegues' reporting at this hour, but nevertheless, a huge show of force by law enforcement. Real quick, why did Trump bring on a new white-collar defense attorney, Robert?
Because they're preparing now for a possible trial. Trump has so many lawyers on so many different fronts, but now that this is a formal indictment, now going to be in arraignment, there have been discussions inside Trump's world about how is he going to formalize this team. So he has brought on a veteran criminal defense lawyer, Todd Blanche, to help bolster the legal team. He's still keeping on Joe Tacopina and other lawyers who have worked on this particular New York case, but he wants to have someone who has experience. Todd Blanche is someone who worked for Paul Manafort on his legal challenges. The former Trump campaign manager also worked for a Rudy Giuliani associate. So he's bringing on a heavy hitter, legally speaking, to help him out.
Todd Blanche serving 9 years as a federal prosecutor for the SDNY, well-experienced, well-regarded, some real firepower in the Trump legal team, just as Joe Tacopina, busy with another civil case in this very same courthouse, working on that E. Jean Carroll case, which has alleged that Trump raped her. He, of course, has said that is not true, but there's a lot of things that the Trump attorneys are battling at this hour in a number of different courthouses across America. As we just saw, former President Donald Trump now inside the courthouse here in Lower Manhattan. We're going to step away for just a moment, but we will be back in about 30 minutes for the historic indictment and arraignment of the former president. We may be hearing from him shortly. This has been a CBS News Special Report. I'm Nora O'Donnell in New York.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Don Chamberlain, best-selling author from right here in the St. Louis area. And I want to tell you about a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It can potentially give you more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and your principal is never at risk from market declines. Even people who are currently on track have shifted money to this strategy because it could increase their retirement income or may allow them to stop working years sooner than they expected. So if you're over 50 and want to learn how you could potentially get bigger retirement with less money, call and get the free copy of this brand new movie. That's a $30 value. But when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth. I'll even cover the shipping and handling. No credit card required. 1-800-807-3838. That's 800-807-3838. 1-800-807-3838.
It's always a little scary when there's a power outage, right? Well, avoid that by calling Reinhold Electric to install an inline generator to your home or business or your vacation home. They do it all the time, and they work all over the state of Missouri and Southern Illinois. They can get you hooked up with an inline generator to your place so you don't go without power. EV charging stations, it's a hot item, and a lot of people are calling Reinhold Electric to get them installed. Call today, 314-631-1158, online, reinholdelectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
An important message from SNL Coins. SNL Coins pays top dollar. We buy neon signs, sports memorabilia, Breweriana, silver plate, fine gold filled, antiques, and collectibles. Get a quote with a call to SNL at 544-3600 or visit SNL, 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Before you sell, call SNL. 544-3600.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
What if you could do business without busy work? With Ramp, you can. Ramp is the future of finance with smart automation, corporate cards, and spend management. Just imagine, no more expense reports or shuffling wrinkled receipts. No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea. With smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/finance. That's ramp.com/finance to get $250 for signing up. That's ramp.com/finance.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
YMCA camp counselors get to laugh, play, and lead youth in meaningful camp experiences. Be outside. Be in charge of the fun. That's a summer job with benefits. Hiring for day camp, Y Camp Lakewood overnight camp, and lifeguards. Visit GWRYMCA.org.
This is continuous coverage from KMOX News.
It's 12:35 on the Voice of St. Louis. Michael Calhoun from the newsroom with you, and we're continuing to follow the situation in New York City. You just heard live on KMOX as the former president, Donald Trump, pulled up in front of the courthouse, stepped out of his SUV, and stepped into the courthouse building. Let's take you right now to CBS News, continuing coverage. You'll be hearing correspondent Nancy Cordes.
Of a former president being hauled into a courtroom
to answer to charges against him is a good thing for them, at least right now. Now, the president was asked yesterday if he's concerned about unrest. He said he isn't, that he trusts the New York City Police Department. So it's not that he's never going to weigh in on this, but they have, time and again, when it comes to controversies surrounding the former president, Mr. Biden's predecessor, particularly when it comes to legal issues, they try to say as little as possible, partly because they don't want to appear to be interfering with the legal process.
And with the election, because that is actually something that's happening, even though we know that the current president has yet to declare. All right. Well, we want to bring in now CBS News Homeland Security and Justice reporter Nicole Skanga. Nicole, on Nancy's point about security, tell us how the Secret Service might be involved, not only during this period, the arraignment, the arrest, but now it looks increasingly like they will be invested in the long term in a trial.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Lana. Where Secret Service goes, or rather where the former president goes, Secret Service goes. And that includes, what is happening right now, obviously escorted in the motorcade up to the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse. But beyond that, they will be, I'm told, present during that fingerprinting as the former president is read his rights, as he proceeds, to be arrested, as he continues to surrender to law enforcement. And then they will, of course, have a presence within that courtroom today. There is a sweep that is ongoing of the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse that is happening in conjunction, of course, with law enforcement, NYPD there. But Secret Service has been involved every step of the way. And when the former president, returns to Mar-a-Lago, which we expect will occur later today, to make an address later tonight at 8 p.m. to some of his supporters, his allies, back at his Florida estate, there will be a large Secret Service presence there as well, similar to if he was giving, a campaign speech or rally. And so really, it is sort of this unique case of a former leader, a former president appearing to face criminal charges in court and being escorted by Secret Service. Although, we should point out that this is not the first time that Secret Service has in fact escorted a U.S. leader to a courthouse, although you have to go back nearly 50 years for the previous time Vice President at the time, Spiro Agnew, appeared in a federal courthouse in Baltimore back in the 1970s to enter a plea and resign from office in connection to his failure to report federal taxes. One difference in that case, Secret Service kept their mission largely a secret. Today's, travel of the former president, President Trump, not at all a secret, very aware of all of the movements that, he's been making. But interesting that it's not entirely unprecedented, although certainly a unique scenario for the former president and his security detail today.
Well, on that note, I want to bring in Kirk Burkhalter, who was spent previously 2 decades as a detective in the NYPD. He's a professor for New York Law School and currently serves as the director of New York Law School's 21st Century Policing Project. Kirk, I want to start by asking you about your former police department. What do you make of just all of these efforts, everything that has gone into dealing with security on a day like today? Is there anything that has surprised you so far?
Actually, no, nothing has surprised me. And I'll tell you why. This is what the New York City Police Department does. I mean, keep in mind, this is the police department that protected and assisted the Beatles when they arrived decades ago. So New York City is home to the United Nations and consistently has foreign heads of states and dignitaries and high-profile figures. And the New York City Police Department is very much used to coordinating with all forms of law enforcement entities and emergency service entities. So I didn't see anything surprising, and that's a good thing because this is something that the police department has consistently done rather well. One thing to point out, and I believe some of your guests have pointed out, is there is so much that you don't see that's so important. Remember, there are trains that run under the courthouse. So the transit bureau portion of the police department is going to be active there. You don't see a lot of the fire apparatus and emergency medical personnel, which should always be on hand, and the helicopters that are clearing the various routes. So there's a very high level of coordination. And you're going to see this every time the former president comes to court. over the next year, 2 years, however long this matter will take to work its way through the courts.
All right, we're going to continue ruminating on that and go back to our chief White House correspondent, Nancy Cordes, who we're lucky enough to have here on set with us. Nancy, given all that we're hearing and as focused as we are on this, there is still the job of running the country that has to take place. And tell us more about what President Biden is doing today.
He's got a pretty low key schedule today. He's got one meeting with a bunch of science and technology advisors. Other than that, we've gotten a press statement from him about Finland joining NATO. But he's keeping it quiet today. His press secretary
Is that
will
purposeful because they don't think that they'll get attention on anything they're trying to do?
They know they wouldn't get attention. They would never say that it's purposeful, but definitely trying to get any kind of counter programming today would be extremely difficult. He did travel yesterday to Minnesota, I'll note. His press secretary is scheduled to have a briefing this afternoon. She will no doubt get asked 10 different ways about this proceeding. She will do everything she can not to answer those questions and to say that they don't want to weigh in on legal matters.